Oh, what is up with it, YouTubes? Quattro for Life here. Just brought the car into work today to do this rear differential swap. Just figured I'd get video of it. Went ahead, ordered all the mounts, diff mount, subframe bushing, carrier mounts. Said they're going to be here today, so I figured today would be a good day. And check the tracking, and what do you know? Post office on some bullshit, and did not deliver a race car part, motherfuckers. So just gonna go and do the diff anyway. I'll put the mount in later, you know, no worries. So just gonna go ahead and knock that out. Got some few other suspension part 2 installed. Got the upper tracking arms on the rear, so I'll probably just show that too. So let's get to work. Before we begin, just wanted to say thank you to all of my subscribers. We just hit 700 just the other day. Appreciate everybody. You know, I'm not going to, you know, beg for subscription or like or anything like that. You know, if you like, you like. If you don't, you don't. Just the way it is. But, you know, definitely on track towards 1,000 subscriber. That's my goal right now. So that would be pretty cool. So yeah, I just want to say thank you guys. Appreciate that. Got this manifold in here. Figured to spin around, show you guys. Didn't really show it much in the last video because I already had it on the car. But what the fuck? It's pretty decent. Looks very, very sexy. Very sexy. Donor diff. I did go ahead and check the diff locking mechanism on this one. It does work when it engages. It does lock the diff. So I'm just going to, when I get it in, I'm going to make sure when I press the button, you know, the vacuum, you know, is operating and locking it. I'm just going to double check that before I pull it back out. Make sure that's actually working. But I drove the car this was in. You know, abnormal noises or anything like that. So hopefully this will get me through until I can rebuild the one that's in the car. Maybe upgrade to a wave track, something cool like that. It's been my plan for a while, so that's that. All right, so these are the arms for the rear. The, you know, trailing arm, upper control arm, whatever you want to call it. I believe in the diagram it's trailing arm. But you know, if you got a little bit of play in the rear wheel, I feel like it could be wheel bearing, but typically it's these. Every S4, S6 that I have worked on personally needs these. I got them, they were like $60 each, Rock Auto. They got them in stock, ready to go. So we're gonna go ahead and throw those on with the diff install. Rusty. Just get like a little box like this to throw all the parts in, you know. Boom. So this is free, this can move a little bit. Alright, went ahead and got the links off on both sides. See that? Just hanging free. I'll come back to that later. Just want to knock the diff out first. Just drop the axle back. Just let it hang like that. I'm gonna go get a little support for it. But you know, everybody was like, dude, what kind of exhaust you got, man? It's just 3-inch all the way. Vibrant resonator with a tip on it. That's it. Pretty simple shit. So now that the exhaust is down, we can start on the diff. Gonna take the shields for the axles. There's one on this side. And then there's some brackets that the brake line, the parking brake cables go through. Gonna take those brackets off, take the vacuum line off, basically any other little things, and then go from there. Alright, pop the vacuum lines off, just pull them through, let them hang down like that. The brake, parking brake cable should pop through. If you just take all the bolts out of the shield, you can wiggle it around and have room to get it out. Alright, went ahead and put the exhaust to the side on this jack stand, so that way, you know, bullshit's out of the way. Alright, so the bracket on the front of the diff, even though I got the brake lines loose, they go through there, through a hole. And the fitting that's on the caliper is too big to fit through the hole, so you've got to take them off from the adjuster. It's above the drive shaft. So basically going to disconnect the drive shaft so I can move it out of the way a little bit, so I can get up there and disconnect that, so I can slide the cables back this way through the holes, and then once they're through the holes, we can continue. All right, so just over here like this, remove the heat shield. Okay, and then that will give you access. There it is, right there above the drive shaft. If you can see it, right there. Those two cables where they meet, you gotta get them off of there. So if it's going to, like I said, drop the drive shaft, they'll give you plenty of room to get in there. Allen bolts, they're just full of junk. You just take a little pick like that, and just, you know, clean it out, spray it out. Put your crap in there. You don't want to strip that out. That won't be fun. But I usually dig in there like that, and then I go through to spray them with brake clean, get all that dirt and shit out, so that way the socket will slide all the way in the bolt and not round it out, because these are usually pretty tight when they've never been off. I like to do is I like to put the socket in, and then I like to just tap it, make sure it's all the way in. And when you hear it bottom out, so you know you're good. Alright. Oh, you can get to it. Tap it in there. As you can see, we have access to the adjuster and the cable. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some penetrating oil on there, and then back it off so there's some slack, so that way the line comes off easy. Alright, got some penetrating oil on there, backing the nut off. Can't really fit much than a ratchet, so I'm just going to go with the ratchet. Both the cables free, see that? So we just need to get them through this little bracket. Sometimes easier said than done, but once the little metal piece slides through, boom, it pops out like that. Do the same thing on the other one. On the other one there's a heat shield, but you can just bend it down, you don't got to take it off. Oh, looks like there's a little bracket right here we got to get. Let's go ahead and get that. Alright, so we got the cables out. We just got to pull the cable through this bracket right here, and then basically to take the front down, you've got to take the carrier bolts out, because the bolts up here run into the fuel cell, so you can't take them out. That's why you saw the whole bracket on the other diff that I had. So I'm going to go ahead and do the take the axle nuts, all the axle nuts off, and go ahead and start taking this down, go get a trans jack, get underneath it, and get ready to pull it out. Alright, so just like the drive shaft, I went ahead and tapped this socket in. I got an extension all the way to over here with a swivel on it. Let's put this in here. Alright, that's one. Alright, I just got this one popped free. See that? The axle's free and it's got enough room to where it will clear the diff. So let's work on the other side. Okay, there we go. Okay, put that bad boy off. Alright, so now we got both the carrier bolts out. The big bolt on the diff bracket is out, but we got to get the 3 Allens to remove the bracket so the diff will just come straight down, because without that it won't come down, and you can't go forward because the fuel tank, you know, they really built the fuel tank around the differential because there's really no room to put it anywhere else. But let's see, it's an 8mm Allen. This is what your typical socket looks like, but this one is too long to get the top bolt. So if you got a little shorty like that, this is what you want, the little shorty. So that way, you know, it can fit in there. I'll show you in a second. Put it in there and then I'll show you. That way it fit in there. See that? It just barely clears. So you can get a swivel in there. Put the swivel on there real quick and show you. So see that? It's pretty difficult, you know, but with the shorter parts of the socket, it's doable. This one is pretty tricky. Just not really a lot of room to get it out. Fun stuff. There that bitch is. Oh, bitch. Alright, the other one's much easier. Alright, that's the last one. If we can get the mount out. Alright, that's the diff mount. So now that the mount is out, it is free to come down. Alright, here she comes. Get that wire out. Just lower it a couple inches. There you go. See that? Light. Alright. Alright, diff ready to come out now. There she is. Okay. Alright, got this bad boy up here. Just gonna start putting it in. Alright. Diff brackets bolted in. Carrier bushing. Carrier bushing. So we got the diff installed. So let's do the axles, drive shaft, and then we can start putting it back together. All right, axle bolted in, drive shaft bolted in. But you'll probably notice that I did not hook the parking brake cables back up, and that is because I am going to be replacing the calipers and the cables. Not at this time, but I have not actually been able to use my parking brake for a few years now. It's the caliper seizes up. Still works good. It doesn't drag or anything, but if I try to use parking brake, it just gets stuck, and you got to get out and beat on the caliper, get it to release. Kind of annoying. Cables are stretched pretty good, so I'm just gonna leave the cables out. So when I come back and do the calipers, I can just put new cables in and, you know, put it all back together. That'll save me a little time, as we are already at nightfall. It's been, you know, pretty time consuming doing this job, but you know, obviously it's going to be worth it. So just gonna go ahead and put the exhaust back up, put the suspension back together, and then slam it back down on the ground, and we'll go for a little drive and make sure everything is okie dokie. All right, got the heat shield on, get that little bracket on there. All right, got the exhaust back on. So let's just go ahead and throw the suspension together. All right, so we're back up here on the suspension. Basically, this nut will not come off. If this does not work, I'm going to get the torch and get it hot as fuck, and then it should come off. But basically, you just tear the boot, just like a ball joint. Tear the boot and clean it all up, and then, you know, as tight as you can get those vice grips on there, that's what you want. So we're gonna try that. Hopefully that'll work. All right, here go nothing. Please, please, please come off. Woo! Look at that. Got it off. Okay. So this actually will slip out without removing the shock. You just gotta bend the shock a little bit. You should be able to get it out. These are so tight that you literally cannot take them off by hand. So just take your pliers like this and grab it to release it. Okay. There we go. Okay, nice. All right, so I got the new one up here. It doesn't really want to go past the spring, so I'm just going to use my minor persuasion tool. There we go. See what I tell you? Just a little bit of persuasion. Get the job done. Threads are good, you know, not worried about that shit. Turn a little bit. It's being a bitch. Very close now. Slide the bolt through. Yeah, come on, baby. Once you get the bolt a little bit through, it should just pop right in like that. See that? Bolt all the way through. All right, this side good. This side good, everything tight. Slap the wheels back on, torque them down, and let's go home. All right, got her all buttoned up. About to go for the first test drive. About 3.5, 4 hours, something like that. You know, definitely would like to get it done quicker, but you know, being like original differential and axles, you know, it's pretty tricky getting everything out. Everything dirty, you got to clean off. So usually taking apart takes longer than going back together. So yeah, let's go for a drive. All right, let's go. feels like, it feels so much faster at night. Maybe because it's so loud, you know, but it just feels good. Feels really good. Nice cool air, you know. Running a bit rich, but you know, gotta you know, play with it a little bit. In front of that guy because, you know, looked like he's driving slow as fuck. So you want to hit the fucking high beams? Really, dude? People just can't drive around here, you know. Alright, made it home. Safe and sound. Is good. Awesome. Very successful. So want to thank everybody for stopping by, checking out the video. Appreciate everybody. I'll be making more videos soon. So you know, until next time, Quattro for life. Maybe just one more thing. This is what I'm going to miss about having a ball bearing turbo.